encourage your soul, enlighten your mind, and empower your faith. This is the Light Network. If you want to be a serious Bible student, a successful servant, and a powerful preacher, this is the podcast for you. Hello and welcome to Preachers in Training. My name is Robert Hatfield, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things preaching and ministry. I look forward to this time of year every year because we deviate ever so slightly from our typical format to bring you something that's a little bit different. And this is the holiday gift guide episode of Preachers in Training. I always look forward to it. And here to help us, it is an annual tradition, Chad Landman. He's the host of the Ministry Bits podcast, and you can find all things internet related and ministry related on his website, chadl.co. Is that still the best place to go? Welcome, Chad, by the way. Welcome
yes, sir.
back.
That is the best place to go. And thank you so very much for having me on the show again. I was secretly hoping every year about this time that you ask and you keep asking. And
we've done. I meant to go.
So much.
I meant to go back and look, but I think it's almost every year. We may have missed one or two.
This is like year 4, maybe.
See, this is good.
Yeah.
I like this.
You don't stop a good thing, Robert. You don't stop it.
You can't. You can't do it. So Chad keeps his finger on the pulse of things tech related. He is, so to speak, a tech enthusiast. That may be putting it mildly. And what I love about what you do, Chad, and you do this on the Ministry Bits podcast, and you do this in blogs and other things you create from time to time, is you really emphasize how these things can be utilized as tools in a ministry context. You kind of seem somewhat passionate about that. Is that true?
Absolutely true. I think that, in this age of technology and the way that we're using technology, especially this year, I think that it is incredibly valuable that we learn to use these tools for the glory of God and for the glory of his church. And I think that is the absolute best use of this technology. I think if the Apostle Paul would have had this technology at his disposal, he'd have used it the same way to reach people for Christ. I know that he would have.
Oh, no doubt.
And so, yeah, that's my passion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to your recommendations. You have a list of about 11 or 12 things that some ministers may be interested in, maybe adding that on the wish list, or you can gift this to yourself, to you, from you. That's okay too.
I have been told that I cost people a lot of money sometimes, so I apologize, but I don't really apologize. You know what I mean?
This is the episode our wives rolled their eyes about. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I gave a tech talk at Freed Harmon last year, and I had so many people message me with comments and things afterwards saying, "Man, that's some great stuff, but you cost me a lot of money that day."
Well, what I love about the list that you have for us today is it kind of runs the gambit. We've got some things that are on the pricey end, but we also have some things that aren't going to break the bank by any means. And some of these are higher tech, and some of them are lower tech as well. And so I always look forward to that. Shall we dive right into this week's, this year's holiday gift guide?
Yeah, let's go. Let's dive right in.
Okay, where do we begin today?
Well, I would like to begin with something that I got yesterday, believe it or not. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but I can already tell you that it is a neat, fairly inexpensive little piece of tech, and that is the HomePod Mini.
Ah, okay. Apple's HomePod Mini.
Right, and it is not. I'm sure Robert will put a list, a link to our Amazon list that I put up, the 2020 gift guide. This will not be on there because Amazon does not sell these. Because I believe probably because they're in direct competition with Amazon's little smart speakers. But I'm not a real big fan of smart speakers in general, so don't take it that way necessarily. And I don't use Siri all that much except to talk, text, and things like that. But I found that this is the best sounding small speaker that I have ever used. We actually have it. I'm actually contemplating getting another one for my office here, but we have this in our home, and we were able to hook it to our Apple TV as far as like wirelessly.
Yeah.
And the clarity on television shows or the clarity with music and stuff like that, even at really high volumes, is wonderful. You see right there on the screen, you can use your iPhone. If you're an iPhone person, you can use it to basically just tap on it, and whatever music, podcast, whatever you're playing, it will just in a few seconds take over that on the HomePod Mini with just a tap. You don't have to
that's
push
fantastic.
anything. You don't have to do. I mean, it works really, really well. And you wouldn't think that with some of the HomePod branded stuff, because the original HomePod came out several years ago. It was not inexpensive. It was a whole lot bigger, and it had a whole lot fuller sound. But again, $99 for this thing is hard to beat.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, really small. It could fit on your desk really well. And if you listen to, I like to listen to instrumental music when I'm writing a sermon or writing a class or doing a presentation or working on some church graphics or something like that. I like to listen to instrumental music, so it sounds really great. I also love to listen to podcasts. And I know a lot of ministers out there are increasingly listening to more podcasts. Hopefully they're listening to ones on the Light Network,
I heard that.
And so you're going to get, really fantastic sound. I cannot overemphasize how good the sound is versus, and I have a Google Home Mini sitting right here on my desk. It doesn't sound half as good. It sounds twice as good as that, rather.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I highly recommend the HomePod Mini, $99.
Wireless speakers have really come a long way in
really
the
have.
last few years, haven't they?
They really have. And again, if you want a smart assistant, this one's probably not the one to get, because Siri's, it's limited compared to the Amazon and Google devices, but those are also a whole lot cheaper, and you can just put those everywhere. But if you want really good sound, you get this thing. It's really nice.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. First up is the HomePod, $99, and yeah, we're going to put the link in the show notes to that. And you have just so wonderfully provided an Amazon list. You can just go in and add them all to the cart.
Yeah, it's just right there. Just add them all to the cart, and
I meant to go in.
Weep.
I meant to total them all up and see like what is the total of the Chad Landman 2020 holiday gift guide. I haven't done that yet. I might do that.
It's not too. I wouldn't think it'd be more. In fact, I think it's probably under $1,000 for if you put everything in the cart. It might be under $1,000.
That's all you got to do. Okay,
maybe so. There you go.
So next up on the list, we're sort of sticking with the audio theme there for a second, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of ministers already know what these are, but just the regular Apple AirPods. They're go on sale from time to time. I've got the ones pulled up on Amazon here that are $128. Normally they retail for $159, but if you can get a deal on these for sure. I know Best Buy had a sale on them for $99. And I'm telling you, if you do as much talking on the phone with members these days as I do, then these things are just invaluable. They weigh next to nothing. If you can wear the regular Apple earbuds, the wired ones that come with your phone, then you can absolutely wear these. If those fit, these will fit as well. And they're fantastic. These are already on a lot of people's lists, I know. In fact, I gave some people here at Graymere some advice on those and picking out the ones. AirPods Pros sound really great, but they're also a tad more expensive. But these are the best wireless headphones on the market, in my opinion, right now. And they're so small. Robert, do you have any of these? Or
I actually, I got mine here. I knew you were going to mention it. Check out my little case. It looks like an original Mac. Isn't that fun?
That's great. And even with the case on them, they're still super
they're still
small.
tiny. Yeah, it's still pretty small. But yeah, I use these for everything. And these are not the Pros. The Pros are more like sound canceling, so to speak. Right.
I've got the Pros here, and I prefer the Pros because they're in ear.
Okay.
And it took me a little bit to get used to them. Let me see if I can get on my camera here.
There you go.
It took me a little bit to get used to those. And they got a little bit different design on them, and and they're again a little bit more expensive. But at the same time, the regular Pros, my wife has regular Pros, regular AirPods, and she loves them.
Yeah.
And, they're fantastic for taking calls, listening to stuff.
I cut the grass in these. Cutting the grass. And even though they're not as you say, they're not the in-ear ones. They're just the regular ones. But, I can turn it up loud enough to where it drowns out the noise behind me.
Right. Yeah. And it is, just fantastic. And I will say, Apple makes a lot of stuff that I like, and I am somewhat of an Apple fanboy, but the AirPods are, both of them are just about the best Apple product I think I've ever used.
That's a
I
big
really
statement.
think
That's a big
it is.
statement. Yeah.
Other than, obviously the iPhone, but
Yeah.
in the last 10 years, I mean, that's the best Apple product I've ever used. Don't spend your money on the wireless case either. Just plug them in and save, $50. I don't know why they charge way extra for that wireless case, but if you just get the wired case, man, these things are awesome.
Sometimes that's a little confusing to people because they're wireless earbuds,
Right.
but you can charge them wirelessly is what you're getting at, and
Right. If you
you
buy
might as
the
well just
specific
plug them in.
case,
Yeah.
yeah, you might as well just plug it. They've got a lightning port on them anyway,
Yeah.
no matter which ones you get. And so you'll be able to charge them with the same charger that you charge your iPhone with.
That's the thing. The Lightning port's the same port on the bottom of any iPhone, right?
Correct.
So,
Only the iPads, the iPad Pros, and the MacBooks have moved to USB-C.
got it. Okay, very good. So you got to check out the Apple AirPods. And speaking of iPad, I think that's next on the list, right?
And this is the iPad, and this is the iPad, Robert, that a lot of people just really, I talk to people all the time. A lot of people just don't really know this one exists.
Okay.
Apple doesn't do a lot of promotion for this one. It's not the iPad Pro, but these are just the regular old unbranded non-pro old style iPad. Now this one came out, I believe, this 8th generation model came out in, I think it was refreshed in March. So this is a fairly powerful iPad. You can use the 1st generation Apple Pencil with it. It's got a 10.2-inch screen. It's got the fingerprint reader there. And I mean, this is to me, the iPad right here this is the best deal in technology right now. You can find some of these. In fact, I saw them at Sam's Club or Costco. I can't remember which one, for $2.99.
Oh, wow.
So you can find a deal on these, and I'm sure there'll be Black Friday deals for some of that stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. But really fantastic. Just a piece of, you get iOS 14 on these. You get a full computing environment. I bought one of these for my dad. You can print from them. You can do almost anything that you would do with a computer. I mean, almost you can do with an iPad, and it's a fantastic computing device.
Yeah. I think most people could probably get by pretty easily with using an iPad. I know a lot of preachers that are kind of going iPad only. I know you and I have entertained the notion in the past, and there's still a few things, on the more of the power end that may not be things everybody needs to do in order to accomplish what they need to do on a weekly basis. But the iPad are pretty good. This is the 10.2-inch size, right? And so they make the Pros and the really big one, and however big that is now, 12 inches or whatever. But
it's 13. It's 12.9, so it's 13,
okay,
and then they have the 11-inch Pro. And again, I have an 11-inch Pro, and I absolutely love it. But I'm a power user. But if you just want something to send email on, to write sermons on, you can even buy a keyboard case. The keyboard case may be half as expensive as the iPad itself at that price.
Yeah.
And but you can get really great cases from Logitech to attach to that are very cost effective. And man, these are just fantastic. I know we're not traveling a lot. I know we're not going to coffee shops and getting away from the office necessarily a lot these days. But when we do get back to that, which I'm hopeful that we will next year, having a portable device like this to take around with you anywhere, to meetings or to preacher meetings or to any other speaking engagements, anything like that would be incredibly valuable. And you can do any of that kind of stuff from the iPad.
Even back and forth from the house to the office, honestly. I mean, if you do any work early mornings at home or late evenings at home, it's so nice. I'm kind of finding, for me personally, I kind of use my laptop sort of like a desktop these days. And it kind of stays on the desk in the office, and the iPad goes back and forth with me everywhere. It's got the battery life pretty much sufficient to do what I need. The pencil makes it even better.
That's the kick. That's the real kicker, is the battery life. The battery life on those is phenomenal. I mean, you're going to get all day battery life, doing normally what you would on your computer. You're going to get 12 hours, 15 hours of battery life on these things.
Yeah.
And very, very good. I know what you mean by your laptop almost being a desktop. I had to open my laptop for the first time in a long time just to record this podcast, because I don't have an independent webcam. It's built into the top of my computer here. And I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this keyboard in ever. And so yeah, it's like wow, and it's because I take my iPad home every night. I don't take
Yeah.
if I want to do any work at home, it's not going to be heavy stuff. It's going to be, writing and researching and looking at different things and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
excellent for that.
And if you need to read books, annotate,
Mm.
highlight, oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, the Apple Pencil
Yeah.
compared with that
Oh,
is
it's
just
good stuff.
absolutely wonderful. Highlighting stuff in books.
Yeah.
I mean, just wonderful to be able to take notes on. And some of the newer note-taking apps, Good Notes, I love because it will transfer all your stuff to text. It'll make it searchable. It's just, I just can't say again enough good stuff about it. If you're a minister, one, you could use an iPad by itself for pretty much everything that you want.
Yeah.
But man, what a great tool.
So the model that you've recommended in the Amazon list is the 32 gigabyte model. And they've got a 32 and a 128, and obviously you're going to go up in price for the 128.
Right.
But help people who are wondering, how much hard drive space do I really need on board something like this?
Well, you need a lot less than you probably think, because actually I just got me a new iPhone, one of the new iPhone 12s last week, and I actually downgraded my storage from 256 to 128.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I'm a power user, and I download a ton of stuff and use my phone all day, every day, and I still only need 128. And so, main reason I put that 32 up there is because of obviously the price. But then you get to the point where, I mean, most people can really get by with 32.
Yeah.
The things that take up the most space on iPads are games, believe it or not, and video. If you're doing anything with video, if you're editing video, then those two things are going to take up the most space. But if you're not doing those things on the iPad, then 32 gigs is going to be just enough for you.
And that would be video that you have it locally downloaded. It's not like
Right.
watching
If it's on
YouTube
iCloud
or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If it's on iCloud, you're editing or something like that. You can edit videos on an iPad, on any iPad.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the pros, and it can be done, and it can be done well.
Should
But
people
again, that
Yeah, should people factor in like iCloud extra storage costs and that sort of thing? What do you recommend as far as we're doing less on the local hard drive, but we could argue maybe we're doing more in the cloud these days. So
absolutely, I would absolutely, Apple gives you an extra. They go from 5 gigs to 50 gigs of storage space for $1 a month.
yeah, it's not
And
bad
so
at
that
all.
gives you 50 gigabytes of cloud storage on iCloud for $1 a month, and that will include your photos. And for a long time, I have not had to worry about my photos taking up space at all on anything,
Yeah,
because they are stored in the cloud, and they're stored there automatically, and they're going to be there on every device automatically when I need them.
yeah,
And I have family members that I that I argue with sometimes, who think, well, I don't want to pay for storage when Google and Shutterfly and things like that give me that storage for free. And it's like, well, we saw a great example of that last week when Google Photos said, no, we're not going to do the free stuff anymore for you.
yeah.
And they're going to stop doing that next year. And so it's like, if you don't pay at least a little something, you can pay $1 again for 50 gigs of space per month. And it just goes up a little bit from there. I think for $3 a month, you get a terabyte of storage. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So for a long time, my wife and I have just shared that space. So yeah, again, the actual space on your mobile device, like an iPad, becomes less and less important when you pay just a couple of bucks a month for extra storage.
And iCloud seems pretty reliable these days. There was a period of time in the early days, it might not have been so recommended, but especially for photos, they do it really well these days.
They have, and it's gotten a lot quicker with some of the new operating system stuff. It used
Yeah.
to be a little bit slower. It was still fairly reliable, but it was slower. Now it's, lightning fast. It's syncing documents and things like that, notes from your notes app, all sorts of different things. And yeah, it's gotten a lot more reliable. Apple has finally figured out that people are finally starting to trust them with that.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of running with it.
For me, syncing photos and syncing notes make it worth probably more than the price that I pay
Absolutely.
for iCloud. It's really great stuff.
My wife has over 40,000 photos. And so we lost 12,000 photos one time because we accidentally deleted something, and that was before iCloud. So she has never, that is one bill every month that she has never said, are we really going to be still paying for that? She
Yeah.
just, those are things that you don't want to lose.
No, you're exactly right. Okay, so we got off on iCloud because we were talking about iPads, and
Right.
now we're switching gears from an iPad to a different kind of pad.
Right. Well, and I think I've recommended these probably a few years in a row, but Field Notes notebooks. You can get them in a wide variety of sizes. These are the regular 3.5 by 5.5 size. They're about index card, a little bit bigger than index card size.
It's a great size.
And it's pocketable. They're extremely durable. I washed some in a pair of jeans one time and was still able to use the notebook. I mean, that's how durable they are. I have way too many of these, but I just find it. All this technology is really great, but I just find it really comforting and efficient for me to be able to write stuff down on a pen and paper sometimes. And I think this show, Robert, has quite a few of those people that just enjoy writing stuff down on a pen and paper.
Oh, yeah.
And I just write down my daily notes. I'll have one of these notebooks about every 3 months, and I'll just write down stuff that I need to remember, stuff that I'm thinking about, stuff that's not going to go into an app or a to-do list or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff that that I need to remember for the future. And I really like these notebooks. There's not a whole lot else to say about them other than they are fantastic little notebooks.
They're good. They come in packs of 3, right? And 48-page books each. And these are really good. I like you, have far too many of these. I did the yearly subscription thing a few years ago, and I didn't use all of them by any stretch within the year. And so I just canceled the subscription, and I still have these. And I use them quite often. Now, maybe less today than I did at one point in time, but it's still really handy to have around. And by the way, if you're wearing a suit coat or something like that, even a shirt pocket, fits really nice in there too. If you need to use them to take notes when you hear things around the church building on Sundays and things, it's really good.
And that is really good. And because I feel like when I pull my phone out, there's a million things that I need to look at. But when I pull out one of these notebooks to write something down, it's very centrally focused. I write it down, I shut it, I put it away. And the other aspect of that is that I kind of write down, what's been going on. I kind of keep a little bit of a journal going on in some of these things. And I think it's going to be just neat that none of that stuff is going to be stuck in an app that is inaccessible by my children after I'm gone. I know that's a way down the road, hopefully, but when my children get a minor library of 100 of these little books that I wrote in for years and years,
Right.
I mean, that's going to be a treasure trove of knowledge and information.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've also found, like, if let's say I'm standing in the foyer and several people are coming up, and somebody says, "Hey, I'm having surgery on the 17th," and then somebody else comes up and says, "Hey, did you know so and so has tested positive for COVID 2020 or whatever?" And I'm trying to take notes of that. If I pull my phone out, it seems a little off-putting to people. It's almost like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is there something you need to do?"
Yeah.
But if I pull out my notebook, people don't. It's different. Their reaction to it is different. So. There you go.
It
Field
really
notes.
is. We still have not gotten past that, pulling out your phone, because you're bored, or pulling out your phone to look at something and not paying attention to somebody else.
This
And
conversation
writing
bores me.
again, I find writing something down with a pen and paper helps me just remember a whole lot better.
Yep.
When I type it into an app or put it on a to-do list or something in my computer, it just doesn't sit nearly as firmly in my brain. And so I find, and it's a good exercise, I think, to write every day.
Agreed. So $12.95 for the pack of 3 that you've put on the Amazon list.
Right. And you can go to fieldnotesbrand.com, and they have lots of other styles available. They have lots of other sizes available. Some of the limited edition ones, they sell out pretty quickly, but they've got a national parks series now that's just got beautiful covers on it, and you can go and you can get you're looking at the interior of the pages there, the dot graph. You can get lined, you can get all sorts of different things. And I like dot graph a lot because I actually draw a lot in mine. I draw diagrams and different things and stuff in
Oh,
mine, and so it
nice.
helps for writing and diagramming at the same
Yeah.
time.
Very cool. Fieldnotesbrand.com, or you can find it in the Amazon list there. All right, those are $12.95. Okay, now we're headed to some more digital storage, right?
Yes, sir. This is the Sandisk Ultra, and I've got the 32 gigabyte, and this is what's called a dual drive. Let me see if I can find it here in
This thing
my.
is pretty cool.
This thing is really cool because if you have a MacBook or an iPad Pro and it's a newer one, you have a USB-C ports on it.
Oh,
Well, I'm
so
having
annoying.
to use, yeah, it is. And it's the world has just not caught up with USB-C quite yet.
Yeah.
And so these little, I think these are Nanda brand. I'm going to put them up to the camera here. But this is a little adapter that I end up using
Oh,
all
yes.
the time.
I have several of those.
Right. And they're just annoying to try to keep up with. And there's no.
And they're slower.
And they're slower.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not USB 3, they're USB 2. And so what I love about this little SanDisk, and I have it right here, is that you've got one side with a USB, regular USB A, and then the other side is a USB C. And you can actually, it's the same drive. It's not two different drives. It's the same drive, and you can plug them into either port. And so I can transfer files from my computer to the printer or to the, there's a nice little animation there. You can actually put, if you have USB-C on your Android phone or USB-C on your iPad, you can actually put them in those machines and then just transfer them to your PC, transfer them to your Mac. If your Mac has older ports on it, transfer them to a PC in the office. I know our PowerPoint computers in the church, I know that they are not updated very often. And so you're constantly need to do that. But this is just a nice little way. I mean, $10 for these, and you can get a 256 gigabyte, I think, for like $30. And so
wow,
I keep some of those on there.
Yeah,
really nice little drive, real handy.
So the one that you have, the 32 gigabyte, as you said, list price, by the way, $21.99, but as of the date of this recording, $9.49 on Amazon Prime, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, 256 gigs for $35. That's not bad at all.
I mean, you can't beat that. And you can throw all sorts of stuff on a USB drive like that. It's 256 gigs.
Yeah.
I mean, you get 4 of those and you get a terabyte of storage, and they're tiny.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Very good stuff. So again, 32 gigs, $9.49. Yeah, if you've got a new computer, you're probably feeling the angst of this new USB. Do you have the right port? And especially if you, like you say, you're going to like the PowerPoint computer, you still need one thing. It's a whole deal. So,
and 9 times out of 10, the USB-C adapter you get to adapt it to a regular USB-C is not going to be as fast as the port can be. Especially if you go somewhere like Office Max or something and get one of those overpriced adapters there. And so I would definitely look at something like this for drive storage, for sure.
It's way better if you have a device that actually has that port on it. It's just It's going to work better that way.
Right.
Good stuff. Okay, let's see what we're headed to next. We're going to tablet stands.
Yeah, so this is a little tablet stand. It's made by a company named Humix. I've never heard of them before, but you know how it is on Amazon.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
And but this to me is the I've went through quite a few tablet stands, and if you need something to prop up your tablet, prop up a book, I've actually used this to prop up books that are not too thick of books. It is incredibly sturdy. When you put it in a position, it is staying there. And it is pretty solid. It's all metal construction. I've put lots of different things on this, and it really works out. Plus, it elevates. If you don't want to spend the money on a keyboard case for your iPad, it really, if you wanted to work at your desk with a wireless keyboard with your iPad, this is the perfect stand to get for that, because it's not going anywhere. And when you have to tap on the screen, it's not going to wobble. It's got a really nice base with a couple little pads on it, so it doesn't. It's not bare metal contacting on your desk or anything like that. It's a really, really sturdy stand.
If you were thinking about maybe doing the iPad only route, I think this would be probably a must-have, just to get it up a little bit. That part of the reason why I like to use an external monitor. I know you mentioned you do the same things. You haven't opened your laptop in years, but to have it up a little bit helps
Hmm.
just ergonomically, especially when you're putting hours in front of a screen, like
Absolutely. You
we
can put
tend to
this at
do.
any, yeah, it's foldable. It's compact. You can throw it in a bag. So it's heavy. It's good.
Oh,
It's nice and
yeah.
heavy, but you can fold it compact, but you can also adjust it to whatever viewing angle you want as well. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't really do that with some of the keyboard cases that you get. They have one or two angles, and that might be it. But this one, you can put whatever angle, you can put it lower or higher as you want. There it is,
Mm-hmm.
folded up right there,
Hmm.
and it's actually a whole lot more compact than you would believe.
Less than an eighth of an inch thick when it's folded, and only 6.3 inches long.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than you think.
Yeah. Wow.
If mine wasn't at home, I use mine at home for me and my son doing remote learning stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
he uses it all the time. And it's that durable. It's durable enough that a 9-year-old can use it. So
Okay. Nice. 21.99 on Amazon. The Humix tablet stand, and they've got it. It could work for a phone as well. They're sort of branding
yeah,
it that way as
you can
well.
put a
Phone
big phone
stand.
on there. If you have an iPhone Plus or something, and you want to put it on there, it's going to be slightly bigger than that phone. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'll absolutely work for any of that kind of stuff.
All right. Good stuff. I love how well rounded all this is. And I think the next thing on your list, I was a little surprised to see, although I shouldn't have been, because I know you're kind of into the everyday carry kind
Uh
of
huh.
thing. So we've got sort of a life hack here for the
Well,
next one.
so I love these things. I have bought probably 3 packs of these things, but these are just a little titanium quick release key ring. And I don't know about you, but I'm always finding that I need different keys for different parts of
Oh,
like the building
yes.
and different things for that. And sometimes I need to take a key off and let somebody use it. And I mean, all sorts of different stuff like that. And this thing makes it it saves it's a fingernail saver because it will help you it's easy to open these key rings up
Mm-hmm.
and get a key off of them quickly and put a key onto it quickly. And I know you're saying, what's made of titanium? How is that even possible? Well, it's a whole lot more flexible than you think,
Huh.
and they just feel really good. And I use them on all of my key sets and everything. And so if you've
Yeah.
got keys that you need to keep up with, these are just nice little things. Not a whole lot more to say about it than that.
I love it. 8.49 for a pack of two of these bad boys. Titanium quick release key rings. I like that. Okay. Very good. And next, what do we have next on the list here?
Well, okay, so I've hesitated to put this one on there, but I don't know about you, but I really like Belroy's. Belroy, the brand, has been one of those ones that I always like looked at and said, "Oh, those things would be nice to have."
Yeah.
And I never really bought any of it because it's pretty high, high rolling kind of
Well,
stuff
it's
and
like leather goods and that kind of thing.
leather goods, decently expensive, not too overpriced or anything like that. But they make really great iPhone cases. If you want a good leather iPhone case, I mean, don't buy Apple's. Get a leather branded one from Belroy. They're probably cheaper than Apple's case and they're better. But this was a wallet that I got as a gift from someone about 6 months ago.
Hmm.
And I will tell you, it is not much bigger. I've got it right here. It's not much bigger than a credit card itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it folds out like this. And you can probably see it on the Amazon thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives you all sorts of little pockets and things like that to put your ID in. And it's just a simple little, and it's got a magnetic. Let me show you this right here.
Oh.
It's just going
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice.
And it's
Very
got a nice
satisfying.
little magnetic, yes, very satisfying, magnetic closure, and it is just a good minimal wallet. And
Mm-hmm.
I see guys with these huge wallets all the time, and just I just have four cards in here plus my driver's license and a couple more cards, so about six
Yeah.
or seven cards, and it
Okay.
fits it very comfortably.
Nice.
But it's just a little wallet. I thought if anybody's in the market for a new wallet, and you seriously look at Belroy's, they've got less expensive wallets that are more traditional that don't have magnets in them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I've just been really impressed with this wallet. I really love it, and it's got a really nice shape to it. It's not too big, and if you were looking for a new one, this would be one I intend to keep this for years to come.
Nice. Are you doing the like, you put it into Apple Pay and leave the credit card at the house or under lock and key somewhere else, or are you a keep the
Sometimes
card on you kind of person?
I'm a keep the card on you kind of guy because living in a smaller town like Columbia, not everywhere takes Apple Pay,
Yeah.
although everything is getting better, it seems, by the day. Think places that I'm going will take it. But Apple Pay is just fantastically
It's too easy.
um, it's too easy for one, and it's like when you put your phone up to something and you pay for it, you're like you feel like, well, I didn't actually pay for that,
Yeah.
but but
Yeah.
you actually did.
Yeah.
And so, and Apple Pay anywhere you can use it as a contactless way of payment these days is, I mean,
hmm
ever more important, I think.
I'm just thinking, you could use that space then for, yeah, I don't know, business cards. I still kind of
Right.
utilize business cards in the community. We don't
Oh
so
yeah.
much with networking and stuff among ministers these days, but in the community, I find that kind of thing to be beneficial.
Or Robert, you could use it for the all important Kroger card.
Uh, what else?
But you are
What else do
correct.
you
You are
do?
correct. I have business cards as well in here, and it's really valuable to be able to pull out a few of those every now and then and just hand them out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could absolutely work. And it's a pretty rigid wallet too. It's not going to bend a whole lot,
Okay.
so that's always really good, especially if you got cards in it. It's pretty nice, and it's again very small.
Nice. Okay. Up next on the list, you got a power brick
Yeah,
for like an iPhone or something, right?
right. So this is not. I had it here sitting here somewhere, but this is. Oh, here we go. This is the smallest, and I've got it right here. This is
Huh?
the smallest 20-watt power brick that you can buy right now.
Now tell us why 20 watts is important, significant.
So 20 watts is going to be important, and this has a USB-C connector on it. And I've got a USB-C that if you get a new iPhone or if you get AirPods or anything like that, they're going to come with the cable that you need. But the new iPhones are not going to come with the charging brick that you need. And odds are you have a couple of these charging bricks around,
hmm
but they only charge your phone at 5 watts and 20 watts. And it's called the Powerport 3 Nano. This will charge your iPhone at 20 watts, provided you have a regular iPhone or an iPhone Pro, the Max,
hmm
the Plus versions. It will charge them at the full 20 watts, which means you will get a much faster charge than charging with something like just a 5-watt charger. And so I can charge my iPads with this. I can charge my iPad Mini, my iPad Pro with this.
hmm
Um, I can charge any of the iPhones that I've had, including my new iPhone Mini that I got. Now the iPhone Mini is the only exception. It only charges at 12 watts through this because that's the max it can charge, but it
hmm
still charges a whole lot more than the 5 watts. So it's going to give me a faster charge, and it's going to be as small as the regular little Apple 5-watt charger.
hmm
And so very, very good. Smallest 20-watt charger you can get on the market right now.
So most devices these days, even if you plug it into the little brick that can do more, the device can pretty well regulate. Right,
Right.
you're not going to surge the power or anything in the charging
Right.
the battery or anything like that. It just means it'll charge faster. But so Apple, and that's the latest iPhone release, which I guess is iPhone 12,
Uh-huh.
because of their green initiatives and environmental stuff. They're saying we're not going to ship the little bricks anymore. We'll give you the cable and the phone, but not the adapter that plugs it into the wall. So
Right.
you're saying this would be a good substitute for that, and it's even better than what they previously shipped with because it's 20 watts instead of the 5, right?
Absolutely. And it's going to be a lot better. And Apple threw that line out there about their green
Yeah,
initiative and
right.
stuff like that. And I mean, that's all great, but the truth about it is they're gonna make more money by not putting the chargers in the
They're going to
box
sell them
for you.
separately, right?
They're
Yeah.
gonna sell them separately, and but the odds are is that you have a bunch of these laying around.
Mm-hmm.
But this Anker charger, again, if you need to replace it with your USB-C brick,
Mm-hmm.
is going to charge a myriad of different things. It will charge pretty much anything USB-C that you have, other than a big MacBook. But it'll charge it at 20 watts. In fact, I've seen videos where this one will charge a 13-inch MacBook Air.
Oh wow.
And I think that is um, kind of crazy that it would charge a MacBook Air, but it'll charge it at 20 watts, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. It'll charge it very slow, but it'll charge it at 20 watts.
Yeah. Should people be concerned about not using the power brick or the cable or whatever that came in the box? I mean, I know some people are kind of finicky about that. Is there any
No, I don't
thing
think you
about
should
that?
be overly concerned. However, you should be concerned um, getting the $2.99 cable at the gas station.
Yeah.
Um, don't use those. Don't use unbranded cables because they're not very safe from a fire perspective. They're not
Mm-hmm.
very safe for your device because they can't necessarily regulate the flow of electricity. But any of the brands, Anker has pretty cheap USB-C cables
Mm-hmm.
out
Trusted
there that you
brand.
can get. And any of the obviously the Apple branded ones that come with your device, they're going to be just fine. But just don't get like an unbranded cable necessarily.
So this thing is 1.18 inches by 1.10 inches by 1.10 inches.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
small. Here's the iPhone Mini compared to
wait a
that.
minute. Let me get you back up there. Let's check that out. Wow.
See, there's
So
the
the list price on Amazon $16.99, but there's a lot going on in that little brick. Maybe more
yes,
than meets the eye.
yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, $16.99 for the Anker Nano iPhone charger, 12 watt, and that's just a handy thing to have around anyway.
It really is. Good travel charger. If you just take that and you have an iPad, you can charge both of them at the same time with that. You don't have to take a hub or anything.
Yeah. All right. Love it. All right. This is good stuff. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. I don't know. Other people may not geek out as much as I do about this.
I don't think you're alone. I think people will really
No.
enjoy this.
Yeah, I agree fully. So this is another thing. Again, on the everyday carry line, I expect some kind of bag, tote, something recommendation. And 2020 gift guide did not fail us on that either.
And it did not. This is the Topo Designs. It's called the Micro Accessory Bag. And
Okay.
it's just a neat little Kadura. It's got Kadura fabric on it, style bag. It's got a YKK zipper on it. It's incredibly durable, waterproof. These things are about as big as actually about a Field Notes notebook. So about
Oh, okay.
3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. They're not big, but you can get them in bigger sizes. And so you see the bigger sizes there on Amazon. So you can pay a little bit more money and get a bigger size. But
Mm-hmm.
I love these little bags because they just have they're just an open bag, an open space to where you can just throw stuff in it.
Yeah.
If you want to throw your keys and your wallet in it, you can do that. If you wanted to throw the little Anker charger in there and a cable and then maybe a USB drive in there, you can throw that in there. If you wanted to throw a knife and maybe some of these, I'm sitting here looking at the stuff that I've got right here, but throwing some of these, how many of us have Apple adapters? I mean, just
Oh,
throwing a
yeah.
couple of Apple adapters in there, and it just works. And they're just nice little bags, and you can use them for multiple purposes.
All right. Very good. So Topo, you say? Topo
Hmm.
Designs?
Yep.
Micro accessory bag, $15 on Amazon. And you got to have something to put in it. So why not a zip blade?
Well, this is one of those things that I bought and or rather asked for. I think I got it for a stocking stuffer at Christmas last year, and I thought, well, I'll never use that a whole lot. I can tell you right now, I did not foresee how many Amazon packages that I would get in 2020. Are you with me?
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
was like, no, I'm gonna not order as much as I did this year, and then
And yeah,
coronavirus
and then
happened, and then
2020 happened.
everything came in a box. And to me, these things, this is just it's the perfect little thing for opening boxes. It's the
Hmm.
perfect thing for making those tiny little cuts that you need to make sometimes, cutting string, cutting different things. I found it, when I have a an ornery string coming off my sleeve of my suit on Sunday
Yes.
morning, this thing
Yes.
just right off of there. And
Nice.
it's got this funky kind of key ring thing that you can attach it to a key ring. I've actually got it attached to one of these. I don't have it on me right now, but I've got it attached to one of these little things like this that hooks to your belt.
Oh, okay.
So I've got that hooked to my keys, but it keeps your keys and your things hovering. I don't know if these are on Amazon. This is the Key Smart kind of thing that you can put in your pocket, just put on the top edge of your pocket. But I've got it on one of those. And it just works out really fantastically when I need to just make a little cut on something.
Very nice. So you can get that for $17.18 on Amazon, the Gerber GDC Zip Blade. That's nice. It's real, what, 6 inches long, something like that?
Oh yeah, it's the whole thing is 6 inches long. The blade itself is not more than, half an inch. I mean, it's very, very short, and it does exactly what you need it to do. It's incredibly sharp too. So don't make the same mistake I did when you.
Yikes. Okay. And the other thing you just mentioned, the Key Smart thing, I'm going to look that up too. Just
so
because.
I told you there'd be more stuff.
Yeah, you did.
That was going to cost people more money.
That.
So it's like a little Key Smart belt clip, and I mean these things are super tiny. So, but it just my keys hang in my pocket like that, and keeps them from jumbling down at the bottom of my pocket. And you can put anything on them. You can put a knife on them. You can put whatever attaches to a key ring on it.
I love it. Okay, very good. So let me look and see where we are now. Oh, now we're getting hyper practical here. We got to put some collar stays on the list. I like these. I've got something.
That's
similar.
right. And this is the last thing I got on my list. You may have some other stuff, but this is and I don't know the brand name necessarily, but Jovivi maybe, but it's stainless steel collar stays. And how many times have you needed collar stays on Sunday mornings?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And these are fantastic. You can get the size that you want. Actually, I have on these the size that I need for the shirts that I wear. And so they're a little bit shorter, but you may like a little bit longer one. So you can get different lengths of these. But man, these things are so durable. They don't bend like plastic ones.
Stainless steel.
They're it's amazing. And you probably don't want to, you want to make sure these are out before you put them in the dryer, because you don't want them getting stuck in the dryer or anything like that. But I have forgotten plenty of these, and they have always been fine. But
yeah,
man, this is one of the best. Other than getting a good new pair of shoes for Sunday morning, this has been the best kind of accessory that I've bought for dress clothes in a long time.
$13.99. You get 36 of these.
Yeah, you won't have to buy any more for a while.
Of course, you'll need a pair to make it work. But yeah, I mean, 36. That's pretty amazing. I love it. Chad Landman comes through again.
Told me about those.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, Chad Landman comes through again. So you were giving credit to Barry Throneberry.
I'm giving credit to Barry Throneberry. He told me about that years ago. He said, get you some stainless steel collar stays, and I thought he was crazy. And sure enough, I got some, and I said, man, I'm a believer.
Absolutely. I've got this tiny little bucket that hangs in my closet, and I've got my stainless steel collar stays inside of that. So I just, I pull them out, take them out when I need to, pull them back in,
I may be late on the party to that. There may be a bunch of guys watching right now going, well, duh, Chad, I've known about this for a while. But then there may be that one guy that's like stainless steel collar
That's
stays.
what it's all about.
Wow.
That's why we're here. For that one person.
We're here for that, man. That's right. What we're doing. Making the world better, one person at a time.
One person at a time. We have the complete list on Amazon of the things that have been mentioned, and we'll put a link to those in our show notes as well. Just go down through there, click add to cart. That'll be fine.
We don't get any. I'm not doing an Amazon affiliate on this or anything like that.
That's right.
It's none of that stuff. We don't get any money from it. It's just good old fashioned recommendations.
Just good stuff. And you want to take advantage of that. I'll also have a link to the Apple HomePod Mini in the show notes as well. TheLightNetwork.tv. Just look for Preachers in Training Season 12, Episode 12, I think, is where you want to go for that. And that leads me to the weekly plug. If you enjoy the podcast, most often we're talking about issues or concepts related to preaching and ministry. Sometimes we talk about tools related to preaching and ministry. And all the time we talk about things that you want to talk about, because the majority of these episodes are driven by your listener requests. And so you can send me an email, preachers@thelightnetwork.tv, to weigh in for what you would like us to talk about, or see the Facebook group Preachers in Training. It's a closed group. If you ask to be let in, we'll be happy to let you in there. That is not the place to promote your church's live stream or, the next gospel meeting that you're having. That's the place to have conversations about preaching and ministry. And we're very strict about that rule because we like to keep it a safe space. So go and check that out. And we very much benefit from the discussion that ensues there. Brand new episodes of Preachers in Training release every Thursday from thelightnetwork.tv or wherever you get your podcast. Click the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And we're doing this in a video format these days as well. Go to YouTube and find the Light Network's channel, or just search for Preachers in Training, and you'll be able to find the videos that we have up there. I think pretty much every episode this season, in season 12, we've done in a video format, and so that's been really exciting as well. You've got to check out chadl.co if you're wanting to check out some more stuff about what Chad does. He blogs periodically there, but you can also find the Ministry Bits podcast, information about digital parenting, on and on and on. Hey, the sub $100 computer for your church. The most
just
recent
posted that
episode.
today, Robert. There was a new episode of Ministry Bits posting today.
All right, there it is. So you need to go check that out. Talking about the Raspberry Pi. Hey, that's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's real fun. Almost had one on the list, and then I was like, well, I don't know.
Okay. See, so it goes deeper on Ministry Bits, and you got to check that out. Where do they get Ministry Bits? Anywhere? Everywhere?
Ministry Bits is available pretty much anywhere your regular podcasts are sold, and you can find them on Apple Podcast, Overcast, anywhere that you can search for it. You should be able to find it. And so if you can't find it there, you can go directly to chadl.co/mbits, and all the episodes are there. We've got 60 plus back episodes of that.
Yeah.
And we just started doing the season format because that's a little bit more flexible for me taking some breaks and stuff. And so we're in season 5. That's
exactly why we started doing it.
There you go.
It's all about the breaks.
It is. It really is. I really applaud these people like the Mac Power users that have not missed a week in like 10 years.
10 years.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we have kids at home. Exactly.
They don't have children. They don't have small kids. We have small kids.
That's exactly right. Oh, Chad Landman, I always look forward to this. We got to make it more often than just once a year, but a holiday gift kind in July may not make a lot of sense. I don't know, but we appreciate all that you do.
Coronavirus gift guide. That's what we should have done.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
Probably should have done that. But it's always a pleasure, Robert. Thank you so much for asking me again.
Well, and we appreciate all you do. And if you're ever in Columbia, Tennessee, and it's not COVID time, and you're traveling again and all of that, check out the Graymere congregation. I'm sure you're familiar with them, and Andrew Phillips and Chad and the whole gang over there, the ministry team, and the great church there. I know you want to check them out as well.
Hey, and one thing, Robert, if I could make a plug for something we're putting on.
By all means.
I know it's not not plugging our live stream or anything, but we've got a preaching workshop that we do every last week of February.
Yeah.
Our Andrew Phillips, our preaching minister here, puts that on. And we would love for anybody in the area. It's a 1-day workshop from 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We had Ralph Gilmore here last year. We usually have 4 guest speakers from various different places around and talking about one particular subject. And this year we're talking about preaching the Psalms.
Oh,
and
nice.
so that's going to be the last Monday in February. And so it costs $10. Can't beat it.
Wow.
And it is wonderful.
Where can people find more info? Is that on the website? Anything like that?
So you can go to, you should be able to go to graymere.com/preaching workshop for that. And we've got a podcast as well on there, and you can find the previous ones from last year and listen to those as well.
Oh, very cool. All right. Nice. graymere.com/preaching workshop. We'll put a link to that in our show notes as well. Looks like 1 Corinthians was 2020, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And that was right before all this Corona stuff hit. And we were so ignorant. We didn't even know what coronavirus was back on February 24th. And then
those were the days.
March 24th was a different story. So
you're exactly right. Well, I think that some of these items, in fact, all these items in the 2020 Holiday Gift Guide, not only will ease the pains of 2020 perhaps as you hold these wonderful things in your hands, but can also make for a bright 2021, the Lord willing, as you utilize these tools for your ministry. So
Preach, brother, preach.
there you go. That's going to do it for this edition of Preachers in Training. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you next Thursday, but until then, I'm Robert Hatfield. Let's go preach the word.